Welcome back to our journey through the Bible. Our story begins in Jerusalem during the Passover feast. The city was overflowing with pilgrims. For 3 years, Jesus had been teaching and performing miracles, and the religious leaders had seen enough. They viewed him as a threat to their power and plotted to arrest him and put him to death. On Thursday evening, Jesus gathered his 12 disciples for a final meal. During this Last Supper, Jesus took bread, blessed it, broke it, and gave it to them, saying, "This is my body, which is given for you." Then he took a cup of wine and said, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you." After dinner, Jesus went to the Garden of Gethsemane to pray. The weight of what was coming was immense. "Father," he prayed, "if you are willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done." In that moment, Jesus, fully God and fully man, chose to take upon himself the sins of all humanity past, present, and future. While he was praying, a crowd arrived, led by Judas, one of his own disciples, who betrayed him with a kiss for 30 pieces of silver. The soldiers arrested Jesus, and his disciples fled. Peter followed from a distance, but when recognized, he denied even knowing Jesus 3 times, just as Jesus had predicted. They took Jesus to the high priest's house for a sham trial in the dead of night. They couldn't find any real evidence against him, so the high priest asked him directly, "Are you the Christ, the Son of God?" Jesus answered, "I am." They immediately accused him of blasphemy and condemned him as deserving death. They blindfolded him, beat him, and mocked him. But the Jewish council couldn't carry out a death sentence. Only the Romans could. So early Friday morning, they brought Jesus to Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor. Pilate questioned Jesus, but found no reason to charge him. He tried multiple times to release Jesus, even sending him to King Herod. But the crowd, incited by the religious leaders, demanded his crucifixion. Pilate then offered a Passover custom: release one prisoner. He presented them with a choice between a notorious criminal named Barabbas and Jesus. The crowd shouted, "Barabbas!" "Then what shall I do with Jesus?" Pilate asked. They roared back, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" So Pilate released Barabbas, a guilty man, and handed Jesus, the only innocent man who ever lived, over to be crucified. This is a picture of what Jesus does for us. We are all guilty. We all deserve the penalty for our sin, but Jesus took our place. The Roman soldiers took Jesus and flogged him, a brutal punishment. They twisted a crown of thorns and pressed it onto his head. They put a scarlet robe on him and a reed in his hand as a mock scepter. They knelt before him, jeering, "Hail, King of the Jews!" Then they spit on him and struck him. After their mockery, they led him away to be crucified. Weakened from the beating, Jesus couldn't carry his cross the whole way. A man named Simon was forced to carry it for him. At a place called Golgotha, the place of the skull, they crucified him. They drove nails through his wrists and feet, hanging him on a wooden cross between 2 criminals. Above his head, a sign read, "Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews." Even as he hung there in agony, the mockery continued. The religious leaders sneered, "He saved others. Let him save himself." But one of the criminals beside him recognized his innocence and said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And Jesus, in his immense suffering, showed immense grace. "Truly, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." Mary, his mother, stood at the foot of the cross. Seeing her and his disciple John, Jesus ensured she would be cared for, saying to Mary, "Woman, behold your son," and to John, "Behold your mother." At noon, a profound darkness fell over the land for 3 hours, as if creation itself was mourning. Around 3 o'clock, Jesus cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" For the first time in all eternity, Jesus experienced separation from the Father. He was bearing our sins. The holy wrath of God against sin was being poured out on him instead of on us. As the prophet Isaiah wrote centuries earlier, "He was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all." Then Jesus said, "It is finished." He bowed his head and gave up his spirit. In that instant, the massive curtain in the temple that separated people from the holiest presence of God was torn in two, from top to bottom. The earth shook, rocks split, and a Roman centurion declared, "Truly this was the Son of God." To his disciples, all hope was lost. Jesus was dead. A follower named Joseph of Arimathea bravely asked Pilate for Jesus' body. He wrapped it in a clean linen cloth and laid it in his own new tomb, sealing it with a large stone. The religious leaders, fearing Jesus' followers might steal the body, had Pilate post a guard of soldiers to secure the tomb. Saturday, the Sabbath, was a day of silent grief. But early Sunday morning, as dawn broke, Mary Magdalene and other women went to the tomb with spices. Suddenly, the earth shook. An angel of the Lord descended, rolled back the massive stone, and sat on it. The guards were paralyzed with fear. The angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid. He is not here, for he is risen, as he said. Come, see the place where he lay." The tomb was empty. The women ran to tell the disciples. Jesus was alive. Peter and John raced to the tomb. John saw the empty linen cloths and believed. Mary Magdalene remained, weeping. She turned and saw a man she thought was the gardener. He asked her why she was crying. Then he said her name, Mary, and in that moment she knew. Jesus was alive. "Teacher," she cried. Death could not hold him. Over the next 40 days, he appeared many times to his disciples, to over 500 people at once. He showed them his hands and side, proving he was physically resurrected. Thomas confessed, "My Lord and my God." So what does this mean for us today? Jesus paid the price for our sins. On that cross, he took the punishment we deserved. His sacrifice makes us right with God. Death has been defeated. Jesus didn't just die. He rose again. Because he lives, we who believe in him can also have life after death. This means forgiveness and new life are a free gift, available to everyone who trusts in Jesus. You don't have to earn it. You simply have to receive it. Jesus said, "I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live." The empty tomb changes everything. It proves Jesus is who he said he was. It confirms his sacrifice was accepted. It means death is not the end, and there is real, eternal hope. The angel's words from that first Easter morning still echo today. He is not here, for he is risen. Jesus conquered death so that you could have life. That's the good news of the gospel. The question for each of us is, what will you do with this news? Thanks for watching. If this story impacted you, please like this video and subscribe for more content that explores the depths of faith. We'll see you in the next one.